Hey guys, this is Notser, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Furious. This is a Tier 6 British aircraft carrier, and it's an 8.7 with a bunch of changes. Priority sector. Clearly the compass on the bottom left corner is different. You also have to consider, my squadron is much bigger. Wargaming sort of normalized and buffed the early tier CVs, so the Tier 4 and the Tier 6, the squadron sizes are much larger. And it's much more familiar if you play Tier 8 and Tier 10 aircraft carriers. These are so that they can adjust and shrink down the tier difference. And I have definitely noticed if I'm bottom tier versus top tier, my AA is more or less where I would expect it to be, but it's not giving me an advantage quite like it did if I was bottom tier or if I was top tier, and it's not giving me a huge disadvantage if I was bottom tier. Now, priority sector, completely different. It's not a set it and forget it skill any longer. And you might have noticed that as the aircraft carrier, I didn't set it before I scrambled my squadron. I can't. It's an ability that goes on cooldown, and it only functions immediately after use for a short time. And as an aircraft carrier, well, I don't have direct control that frequently. So this is an attempt by Wargaming to turn the AA game into a more active participation. If you're not actively using priority sector, you will end up taking more damage and be less effective than you were in 8.6. And I can guarantee you, if you refuse to use this skill, CVs will feel even more powerful than they've ever felt. Please make full use of the priority sector ability. You have to. And I know, oh, but I remember a day when I didn't. Good, good. You can go back and remember those days because those days are gone. This is where we are at now, and this is going to create a more dynamic feeling game. It's more back and forth in real time between your ship, your AA's ability to fight off the enemy aircraft. And yes, does that mean that some of them are going to get through a little bit more frequently because you might mess up or whatever and there's an immunity frame? Yes, that's exactly what it means. And that's exactly what Wargaming wants. It wants every detail rewarded if you pay attention to that. And I appreciate that. And I also appreciate the increase in squadron sizes that we're seeing at Tier 6 and Tier 4. That means that to Tier 4 and Tier 6, especially Tier 4, you're probably going to be a little bit more vulnerable than you feel. You know, like the CV damage output is higher because the squadrons are larger. You're going to keep more air alive, and they'll be able to drop their payload, hopefully, effectively. Plus, players aren't really using this. It's not even on their radar, and they're playing Tier 4s with terrible AA. But they've moved the power away from base stats, and they've redistributed closer to the priority sector. That is where you get most of your AA power, is your ability to actively use priority sector in the appropriate moments to fight off air. And this is going just horrible, right? The game's basically over. I'm getting a little bit of torpedo damage on targets that are meaningless. If we lose 2 more ships, you know, it's over. The friendly Koenig's super low. That DD is seemingly still alive. Finally, he dies. Nobody's capturing any bases. And, you know, it feels pretty bad, right? I felt like this game was over. But we keep on pressing on. And this enemy Furutaka, I had a choice there, go after the cruiser or the DD. I chose to go after the cruiser because I wanted to focus fire. Hopefully I can get a little chip damage so it doesn't look stupid. Oh, it looks stupid. Good, good. We didn't do any damage. But we didn't lose any aircraft either. And my team is easily dealing with him, so I'm going to try and find another target. Now, this system emphasizes Flak. It layers your AA, so as you get closer to a target, you will take more damage, guaranteed. Unlike 8.6's AA system, and prior to the CV, and with the CV rework, they took away that layering effect. So some ship AA systems actually did more damage at long range than they did at medium or short range. You know, Soviet battleships, for instance, was weird, where their long range was so dominant that by the time you actually attacked the ship, you already took too many losses and it was an ineffective attack. Now, every single ship has their long range, which then layers with their medium range, and then their medium and long range layer with their short range, and there's a separate range for Flak, so that Flak can't obviously have an at point blank range. And this feels natural. Oh man! The ship is firing its AA guns to defend itself from dying? What a concept! Yeah, I know. So, yeah, you can feel like you can bump into ships and not completely get devastated. So it's a nice change overall. And speaking of bumping into ships, I think we have someone who wants to get us, and I don't blame him. We're looking pretty bad, and you got to see that new waypoint system. It automatically detects the most optimal maneuvering required to reach the waypoint. It vastly improves the CV. You can aggressively position yourself and know that you're not going to just bump into islands and pull like a million Notsers all the time. It will show you exactly how much turn that you need to perform this action, and it will carry it out, and it'll carry out very effectively. And I really like it. It keeps the tempo of the CV up so that they're closer to the action, and I like that. But man, is this going so bad. I'm like, guys, there is a DD right on top of me. I would love some support. So Locked and Judge, they're coming. My saviors, my heroes, my quarterback. They're going after this guy, and I'm trying to keep him spotted, obviously, with my fighter overhead. It's appropriate use, still appropriately used. And we take out this Frenchie as he attempts to try and get into a point-blank torpedo. But we were good. We pulled back. The waypoint worked. I could continuously play and perform a adequate role for my team. And, oh, okay, Alba, okay. He has his fighter. I'm going to instantly recall. I can't use that on that guy. It's just too vulnerable, and it would take too many losses. Instead, we're going to re-scramble a torpedo squadron and try and work on these guys in the center. And it's not looking good. It's basically my division of outstanding players and a Congo. And that's all we've got. It's, 7 minutes in the game? And it's not looking too good. But you know what? We're going to try. And we're going to try, and we're going to try. So I am just looking for a vulnerability between the New York and the Soviet battleship. And the Soviet battleship does kind of look like he is. And we're going to take a little bit of damage. But I think this is going to have to happen. Because if we don't do damage, we're not going to keep up with the damage requirement. So we get a good torpedo attack. I can't tell you how much better Tier 6 and Tier 4 aircraft carriers feel with these squadron sizes, more appropriate. I just want to reiterate, I actually enjoy playing Tier 4 and Tier 6 aircraft carriers, and I'm not just trying to unlock aircraft carriers anymore. So it's good. I actually like this. This is fun. But you know what isn't fun? Being this far down. And, oh no, the Alba's got the AP broadside. Oh, Judge just barely overpinned. Was so thankful for that. But we got to help our guy. He is helping us. We need to help him. There is no, oh, maybe let's farm some damage. No. If we don't help Judge, we're dead. He's dead. Everyone's dead. So it's a very simple solution. We go after this guy. And we know that he has recently used his fighter, so it's a pretty safe bet that we can get into him. And oh yeah, of course he's here. So I want to lead the target as much as I can, of course. We incapacitate a little bit. Judge is doing everything he can with his Frenchie to try and slow this guy down. I am trying to get one more attack on the target. And I just don't think that the Alba, or for that many players, are actively using the priority sector as well as they need to. So if you're wondering, you're like, man, he's just attacking on cooldown. It's because they're not using priority sector as good as they can. And it's a new skill for them. So I understand that. But it's not going to be this easy for CVs forever. I mean, I guess it could if they ever change or don't change. But if they change, it's going to feel like a more dynamic play. And he's using hydroacoustic, so he's absolutely going to see the torpedoes. And this is bad. This is really bad. I felt like this was it. This was the play that was going to end us. And we're just going to try and lead this guy as he's maneuvering. I wanted to compensate if he pulled a Notser. And thankfully, we were able to hit 2 on him. That was a big pickup. And Judge, in his Galizaner, was able to hit a torp and knock him out. Now I got to get into hiding quickly. And there's 2 more ships on the other side of this. And we've just slowly crawled, inched this back into a game where we actually have a chance. And I do a quick check, call in my fighter just to keep them spotted. Yeah, clearly the AA is going crazy on them, and they will be dead shortly. But I can use it to line up a nice attack and give enough lead to this guy. I'm trying to get a torpedo hit on the bow. Cause a flood, force out damage control. That is how you need to go. And we do get a torpedo on the bow. We actually caused 2 floods, so he's going to use damage control. He has to. And we have to keep that in our mind. The Congo is point blank working on them. Locked is also in the Duca doing work. And I'm just trying desperately to survive. Judge is desperately trying to keep me alive. Finally, we lose the Congo. But he was trying so hard, man. There's nothing wrong with his play. There's targets low everywhere, and it's just working through them so that we can survive. And I have to go after these guys because Judge is actively taking damage. And, ooh, Judge lands a pretty good shot. I line up a pretty good bomb attack. And Judge lands another one. And, you know, just like that, we've got this guy super low. Judge, I hope he can kill the Perth. If he can't kill the Perth, we're in trouble because he's keeping him spotted. And I scramble my torpedoes. It's like the next thing I see that, oh, Judge gets a fire. He says on comms, it's going to stick, so I bypass. Good. I can use this on something else. And that is how we change the game. And just at that precise second, Locked is able to burn down the enemy Bayern. We got the New York. We got the Soviet battleship here. And I'm looking to get some floods and fires on the Soviet battleship, knowing full well that he has used damage control pretty frequently, and there might be a good bet that he doesn't have anymore. So, first one sets him up. Second set is definitely going to take full advantage of a perfect T crossing, and we might have dropped it just a hair too close. In that time where it was adjusting, I think he was able to turn in. I think we're not going to hit torps. Yeah. He was able to close that distance and actually cause the torpedoes to hit the hull without activating. And that's a big mistake for me because he could just run away. If maybe the New York gets a great citadel unlocked, oh, we're in trouble there. So right now, in my mind, the New York is engaged actively with a friendly. The Soviet battleship is not. If I can help the friendly survive, I get more out of it than if I were to selfishly go after the Soviet battleship and then selfishly go after the New York battleship, after which we lose a friendly, right? This is the way you come back and win games, is you support your teammates. So we are definitely going to support, giving a nice lead. Probably too much, if I'm being honest, because it is an American battleship. It only has 20 knots, if it's lucky. So need to try and draw that in. Note how low Judge is. He's done a great game. Locked to everyone in the division, plus that Congo. Just absolutely fabulous game. We get some damage. Locked finishes the target off. And all that's left is that Soviet battleship. And he is retreating. But there's 6 minutes in this game. And man, I can't tell you how much better this Waypoint feels. I have read complaints that it automatically selects the full speed. It's automatically deciding what speed is appropriate to perform the Waypoint action as displayed. I think that's fine, but just keep that in mind. You know, if the old Waypoint, you sort of creeped forward, well, this is a little different. You know, you'll probably quickly get to a position, and he'll tell you he's arrived, and you can decide if you want to move more. Whereas if you just time it out for 15 or 20 minutes to go at 4 speed, you'll never reach the Waypoint. And that's the way some people played previously. That's not how I played, but that's how some people played. And this guy, he could not be more vulnerable, man. He's out in the open. He can't do anything. We get a flood. We get only 1 flood. But is it sticking? Seems like he's going to allow it to stick for now, which might be an issue. And I see that he is definitely slow from the torpedo, causing the flood. It cuts your engine by like 60%. We set up a perfect torpedo attack, and he is going to die to a flood. Yeah, he's going to die to a flood. And that's how we came back. We were, 90 points from being done, and the North completely dead, but our division was the last survivors, and the Congo did a great job of contributing to it, and I was just very impressed by how much fun I had as the tier 6 CV. Normally I don't because of squadron sizes. The back and forth play, the very close game, like the judge could have died, I would have been helpless, I wouldn't have had the extra damage, and might have lost. But as it stands, we didn't, and we won a game that probably the majority of my team felt like it was a guaranteed loss, so I was really ecstatic. The tier 6 CV gameplay in 8.7 just felt much more natural, much better. So I'm going to explore it more, but very happy with all the changes, and definitely happy that collectively we did such a great job in that game. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent or the most relevant uploads. You could also choose to subscribe to my channel, where we do daily World of Warship videos, first impression, how-to, news, review related. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.